I'll read the newspapers from now on in. This will find out where I stand.
No, obviously,
Because people now speak to the news media, not to the chair.
No,
We could have sat down, this could have been taken care of a long time ago, but all I do is read the newspapers and see my brains knocked out here and there and everything else. Now that's what you call good democracy, then we're all in trouble. I had not did do anything that intentionally. All I know, I can make mistakes, but we can talk about it. We could talk about it. I never got a word from Teresa. As much as Teresa, I always helped her, and we always enjoyed our friendship and all that kind of stuff. But to give me an apology saying that I'm hurt my feelings.
Well, that's what
it's the board. It's the executive committee. Me, you can do anything you want with my feelings. It doesn't mean that. You get used to it when you're standing in front of it. So that's the point there. Yes,
I represent the press for a long time, and I was issued the newspaper, and what I would like to say, Teresa, to you, that no matter what happened, I know that your obligation to the community and to the people are, and we recognize this, and we know how good job you did. But you have also a responsibility to the board. The board has to act uniformly.
Yeah, I agree.
Cannot one person create the situation like today, that a lot of people coming to your site just simply to force the board to change the decision. I have a lot of people coming to my newspaper, which we published, because they disagree with the decision, this director or the other director. They want it through the press and through the raising the public awareness to change and force to make a decision. And I think this is wrong. The whole these things which I hear today supposed to be done only inside the board. Not only executive, but the board, like a whole, but not the press and not the public.
Well, I agree. That was my issue with the letter and how it was reported.
It means this is supposed not to be public, because this is our board member problems. You went to the press and you shouldn't go to the press. You should. Whatever way you use, you're supposed to do it this and go uniformly with the board, with the same decision, yours and theirs.
I agree. I agree, and I would apply that to the executive committee as well.
I just want to say that regardless of, I understand that there's misunderstandings on both sides, what should have been done, what shouldn't have been done, whether it's in the board or outside of the board. But what I really would just like to say is something that the other people said, the public said. I think there's an issue of seeing the forest for the trees. We're in a very complicated area in transportation planning in Community Board 1. I think, if nothing else, we are really, really aware that this is a very complicated time for us. And honestly, there's nobody who's better qualified to handle this issue in this community than Teresa. I don't think anybody's saying that, certainly nobody's maligned her job, and I don't think anybody's actually even saying, oh yeah, well there's anybody else could do the job that Teresa's done. Teresa is uniquely qualified to help us with this. And Del, while I appreciate everything that you said, and I hear that about the importance of process and of being taken seriously, I think that the really larger issue is we really have a critical need for Teresa's leadership and Teresa's expertise in transportation and transportation planning and being able to call together the different sides and see all the different issues. And I just think that that's so much more important at this particular time. And I really hope that you guys will take that to heart and really think about that and consider that, because I think ultimately that's what should be most important, is what's best for the community as a whole. And I think really what's best for the community as a whole is for Teresa to retain her position of leadership.
I spoke to Jerry and Ward and few people on my executive committee. I said, I only got about 4 months left of my tenure. I said, and I made a statement last year that this was going to be my last year. And I said, here I am thinking I'm going to just fade away and you can go out into the sunset and gone. I didn't want this to be left open. I said that. I said, I've got to work to the point where I don't leave a fractured board. And that was my intent all along. I don't always talk about what my intentions are because sometimes they don't come to fruition. But in this point here, I made that statement. I said, I've only about 4 months to go. I want to get this resolved. I don't want to leave a fractured board to the next chairperson. I said, and that's it. This was not a dead. It was never a dead issue. It's not a dead issue. It's just that point is this: I don't like to be told that the apology is for me personally, so that it offended me personally. It didn't offend me personally. I'm the chairman of the board. You're not my brainchild. You're doing it to the rest of the board members. You got to have some respect for the chair, because in the past, if you're going to be a chairperson of this board and not take positions on positions that are very hard to protect, then don't be a chairperson. I had to make a lot of tough decisions in my 30 years on as chairman of this board. A lot of people, this is not the first time this come up. It's happened in the past. But there have to be good positions that you're strong enough to say, this is the right thing and that's wrong. I've done that all my life. I ran at least 15 organizations in my time. You would never believe that I started doing things when I was only 13 years old. I was head monitor of a public school. I had 4 yards. Those days you had to line up to go in classes. And so you had about 25, 30 monitors. And this was a tough neighborhood. And I was the only one appointed to do the job. Now you say, why me? I never left the hand up to anybody. I was never a violent person. But they said, no, you can do it. So I did it. And from there on in, I ran a funeral drum corps. I started ambulance corps. At least 15 real big organizations I ran, plus the Greenpoint Hospital and the Woodhull Hospital. They wanted me to be chair of that place. When I opened it up myself with people, they want me to chair that. I said, no, I've had enough with the Greenpoint Hospital. Let somebody else. So I had to take second chair. So I had to be, at least be vice chairperson, so you help the chairperson show the ropes. And I said, yeah, for 1 year only. That's what I did.
Vinny, President Bush, when they leave office, don't they are allowed to pardon somebody? Before you leave office, and you make that I'm serious.
Bless you. I will never leave a fractured board. All my life, I ran various organizations, even this census in 1975. I signed a contract for the CETA program. There was a lot of people on the CETA program. I ran this fraternal organizations, religious organizations, a few organizations that I was not so proud to say I was part of it, but I was there because they wanted me. But I never left an organization wanting something. So in this case here, it was my feelings that I've got to do something to lead this board for the next board chairperson smoothly, accepting whatever is there. So it was never my point to just walk away from something that was decided. I'm not telling you right now what I'm doing, but as I said, I never walked out of any organization with unfinished business. And for me, this is unfinished business. So in this case here, I would say, just let me take care of the situation. Don't worry about it. That's all I can say.